You know, anything worth having is on the other side of difficult. And I understand that last episode may have been difficult. I've struggled, but I pulled through, and we made it here to this point where we get to interrogate Boss one-on-one, a confrontation for a lifetime, because there's so much answers that she has. We looked around ahead and we still, have to question her. Think about that. So much was revealed and we still need to question her. Alpha Troop, welcome back. And I hope that we pull ever so closer to the finale. Or at least the penultimate finale, because I know there's another timeline after this. So, Date, we took a look around her head. And what did we find?
And I discovered something.
Something? I mean, add an S to that. We discovered some things. More than one thing.
Something about the new Cyclops serial killings.
I like how she really doesn't respond and does her finger twirling things and hair thing like to be quite frank, she doesn't give a damn. She's looking at us, looking through us. Our soul may be like a blank canvas to her.
Apart from Ota, there are 4 victims
that she knew all about.
Shoko Nadami, Renju Okiura, Iris Sagan,
and So Sujima.
And So Sujima.
Date, my arm hurts.
Who was responsible for these murders?
Everyone.
Shoko was stabbed by Renju with an ice pick.
Dun dun dun. And I remember this is a creative way to kind of like make you realize that every character played their role, but the way I remember it is just like I wasn't suspecting everybody to have a different killer. That's so smart. Okay, so Shoko's killer, Renju.
Renju was strangled to death by Iris.
Renju's killer is Iris. So you see, like, the Cyclops killer isn't one person, it's multiple people. Now, I don't know their motivations. I don't know why Renju would kill Shoko, and I don't know why Iris would kill Renju, but here we are.
So cut open Iris's body.
Here I can kind of find a motivation, right? Like, no one will ever find out that you're my daughter from a affair. Well, it's not an affair, but, with the whole Monica Iwai, you can kind of understand why So would kill his daughter, because it's just such a damning political secret. What an asshole.
But who shot So? It was you.
See? So, different killers for different, people. So, Shoko gets killed, but then Renju is the one who did the killing. They kill Renju, the first killer, by Iris. Then Iris, who was the second killer, gets killed by So. So is the third killer, who gets killed by Boss. So each killer gets killed by a new killer. Anyway, it blew my mind. It still is blowing my mind because it's such a smart narrative and you don't suspect that. So good job.
In other words, all of these murders were committed by different people.
Yep.
There wasn't just one killer. That's how it looks on the surface, anyway.
Come on. So what does Boss know that we don't?
But that's not the truth, is it?
You can't handle the truth. I mean, Boss doesn't owe us any confession.
There's only one culprit. One person.
So Date has come to this conclusion on his own that Boss is the one?
And that person is...
Or Boss is gonna spit it back on us? Oh crap. Okay, we get to answer this. Right answers only?
Yes. You.
Oh, that music is gone now.
The person in front of me right now.
You're blaming the commander of Abyss for this?
Way to pull rank.
No, not boss. The person inside boss's head.
What?
Can you at least try to make sense?
Well, I mean, you're the one who had like a laugh / mental shift just now.
Alright, I'll explain. You know about the abandoned chemical plant in Kawasaki? There's a prototype sync machine there.
Alright.
You use that device to swap around bodies one by one.
Makes sense. So, but how did this person get access to the killers alone?
In other words, the entire egg ends up being replaced. Mind, consciousness, memory, they are traded, switched.
I don't know where it started.
Your guess is as good as mine, but are you saying Saito Tsujima is just swapping between different people's minds in this timeline? Because that's the only other person that has any urges to kill.
But at some point, you got into Shoko's brain.
Keep in mind, I'm guesstimating that we're not talking to Boss, but anyone who Date claims is inside Boss, and he hasn't revealed that yet. Okay.
Then, you got into Renju's. And got rid of Shoko's body. After Renju was Iris. You strangled Renju using Iris. After that, into So.
She's so calm to Boss, or at least the person inside Boss.
Who you used to kill Iris and Ota at the cold storage warehouse.
Well, it would explain why he's in a polar bear costume, I think.
Now, you're in Boss's body. Inside her head.
Well, I'm not wrong, right? I mean, okay. Let's assume for a second that whoever's inside Boss's head, after I click these, next dialogue option, admits it. How do you prove it? do you just take in Boss because, you know, so technically Boss is innocent. It's just the person inside her hijacked her brain. Good luck explaining that to a judge. So I'm guessing, does Date have to, like, you know, off Boss right now? What's his course of action? Do we try to get this person out of Boss's head?
I see.
Hey, no slouching on the chair.
If you know that much, then I have nothing left to hide.
Stop slouching on the chair. It's unprofessional.
Yes, I am the culprit behind the new Cyclops serial killings.
And that I am is who? Who are you? Now admit who you are. Evil crazy eyes.
I guess you can call me the new Cyclops killer.
But who are you? Should I call you sir or ma'am? What are your pronouns? I want to get this right. Suspect? Okay. Let's go around the horn from right up left as the music intensifies.
That was me.
You imitate her well. From the way you talked and your body language, it was like the real Iris. Earlier, too, you almost had me fooled.
What gave it away, Date?
Your imitation of Boss was perfect.
Yes, there's a reason for that. Let me define some terms first.
Okay, fair enough. And also, what the frig? Like, how are you so skilled at copying people? And another question is, why? What's your motivation? What's your deal?
A person's memory and sense of self. Let's call that personality.
And why kill Shoko to start this whole new chain of events? Just because you're crazy? Evil? And I guess in order to get away with it, you have to keep switching bodies. And then killing the body that you previously had. So Boss, oh crap.
It isn't quite the right word, but it'll suffice.
If you kill Boss, man, that's messed up.
Now, transferring that personality into someone else's brain... Let's call that parasitism. The one transferring is the parasite. The one being transferred into is the host.
So it's like Baby from Dragon Ball Z or GT.
Are you with me so far? Moving on. Even after the personality exchange is complete, the host's memory isn't completely lost. About 1% remains in the brain. So, a parasite could use that 1% to imitate the language and behavior of the host.
Yikes.
That's how I knew about the warehouse and Sunfish Pocket, by the way. Thanks to Renju and Iris's remaining memories.
But how do you get into people? Like, how did you get a chance to transfer a person's mind? So okay, you start off as Shoko? No, you start off as Renju. You kill Shoko. Then you, as Renju, lure Iris, but then you take Iris. So I'm just kind of trying to understand like the transfer sequence. Like they started in Renju, then jumped to Iris. They had a chance to be alone, correct? And then you jump to Soul after Iris. And then after Soul, you jump to Boss. Okay. Should I continue down this line of questioning? Sure, why not?
I'm telling you, it was me.
Whoa. That almost gave me a little jump scare.
Why are you making me repeat myself?
I don't know. Me who is me?
That means the somnium I entered on Sunday.
Was yours, not Iris's.
That's right. It was me.
Hence why it was like all murder. How does he know? Oh, by the way, I skipped some dialogue. So, that means... That's right, it was me. How? How does he know about the original Cyclops killer? Interesting. And something else was troubling me. I mean, that was my face. In the shards of glass. Man, this has turned into a crazy, creepy horror, and I'm actually tensed. Like, I'm tensed up.
What's going on here?
Okay. Yeah, let's go to the details. Why not?
Before I do, there's something I want to hear from you.
Sure.
How did you know about the prototype sync machine?
The sink. Do I lie here? Nah, shouldn't lie.
And not only that, you also seem to know what the sync machine is truly capable of.
Well, someone snitched.
Why is that?
That's...
Maybe because you were me and I was you? Oh, crap. Oh, man. This is the bad, scary vibesville. We're not safe.
Regaining your memories, are you?
Yeah. No thanks to you. Yeah. Oh, man.
Human memory is fractal.
You know, one thing I'm terrified is that, you know, we're unarmed here, and this person clearly has nothing to lose inside Boss's body. So, you know, a part of me thought that they were just gonna off Boss somehow, like, you know, slit her throat, her own throat, or his own throat, depending on the parasite, which I think is Saito Tsujima. So I'm just gonna say Saito Tsujima's in there, and you know, nothing to lose, not his body, and technically I'm his body. So if you go based on the fact that So called me his son, I mean his father, So called me his son, yeah, or declared himself my father. There you go, that's a better way to put it. Anyway,
If you retain even a single piece of it, it's possible to recreate the whole thing.
but why does Saito Tsujima, who I'm assuming is Boss right now, or suspect, knows so much about this information? The whole process from A to B. As if it was like pewter telling me.
Pieces of memories are like roots that grow into every corner of the brain. gradually, slowly taking its time. I imagine the same thing is happening in your brain right now.
Yes, but my brain is not filled with evil.
A fractal is a figure with self-similarity.
Thank you, Aiba. Date, I am creeped the fuck out. Help me.
Allow me to explain.
Yes, this will help calm me down, explaining things.
See this?
The Triforce? No. Read the top line. It's Koch's curve and Sierpinski's triangle.
Whichever fragment you cut, you will see a similar shape.
Yes. Okay, so no matter what I cut, a triangle will be formed.
The whole is made up of its similar parts. This is called a fractal figure.
Okay.
Memories in the brain are similar. That is what he is explaining.
Okay, so we're confident it's a he, okay. Saito Sujima? Right? I just want that, like, final stamp. But I don't want it in a way where it ends in a scary, this is the bad ending route. But it's probably gonna happen that way. And, you know, I'm just trying to prepare for the jump scare.
He is claiming that from a few pieces, you can rebuild the memory.
I knew about the prototype from regating my memory. Is that right? Is it right? Is this Psycho me and I'm him? Ugh. No, that's not it. It's good to see you again. Or see me again.
Parallel worlds exist.
That probably wasn't Iris anymore. Okay, first of all, her eyes look clouded and dark. That's about right.
Saito Sujima.
Okay, well, that was straight out of the culprit's mouth. Even though I can't convince that in front of a judge or jury.
Congressman Sujima's son.
Well, are you proud of yourself, you nut?
What?
And you're my body. My original body.
I researched Saito thoroughly,
Thanks, Aiba.
but I cannot find any images of him on the internet.
They What is Date per se? A second chance where they wipe the memory, or at least kind of like, let me put it this way, okay. Kaname Date is an alias, not a real person. The real person is Saito Sujima, but what they did, because Saito Sujima is a murderer, psychopath, they switched his consciousness with another person. Okay. Whoever that other person was is now gone. And in the body of Kaname Date, which is really Saito's body, is just a personality that was developed or cultivated. Is that the situation here? So, you know, you don't remember 6 years ago because you murdered 6 years ago, or you were a real person, someone else 6 years ago. That has to get explained so well. And basically what I'm drawing my conclusion is that in order to get rid of Saito, but at the same time somehow create a second chance, you create a completely different person named Kaname Date. Okay.
He is listed on the family register, but I cannot find any photographs.
That's probably a good reason for that. They did it to protect Kaname Date. This alias, this is let's call it a puppet in my mind. Continue.
Fine. I still have time.
Why would you have a time limit?
Time?
Yeah, you know. Before I fade away, I don't know. I don't know how the mind works at this point.
You'll see.
Oh, great. I don't want to see. You're gonna transfer your consciousness to me, aren't you?
So, where do you want me to start?
It's just past midnight on Tuesday. Shoko was killed on Friday. If we think of that as day 1, today is day 5. What was Saito doing those days? What was Saito doing those days? Day 1. Good question, actually. I decided to ask him. Okay, so day 1, 2, 3, and 4. I'm going that order.
Like you guessed, my personality was in Shoko, Renju's ex-wife.
But why? How?
That made calling Renju easy. I need to talk to you about something. He came over without question. I think it was around 4 p.m. I had him meet me at the chemical plant.
Okay.
I made Renju go to sleep.
How unfortunate.
Synced. Switched personalities.
Okay, but
And then stabbed Shoko's discarded body with an ice pick.
yeah, okay, Saito, but a quick question. What was the genesis of you being able to get into Shoko? There has to be a starting point. Oh, she visited the prison. Visited number 89. It's number 89. Number 89 is Saito. Because that's the only point when Shoko was Shoko. So, switcheroo at Fuchu prison. Somehow. I guess. And then, okay. Because that's the only other explanation, right?
I took Shoko to Bloom Park by car.
You knew how to drive? Just wanted to make sure. You have a license? No, I don't have a license.
Using the old abandoned subway line.
Oh, crap. So no one saw you. How do you know about that line?
Must have been around 8 p.m. by the time I was finished.
Yeah, Dad. Your dad had that line made. Okay.
I tied up Shoko to one of the merry-go-round horses.
Do you like merry-go-rounds? No? Do you like merry-go-rounds? No? Okay.
After that, I used Renju's phone to send a Nile message to Mizuki.
Mizuki. Yep.
Then, I just waited for Mizuki to arrive.
Mizuki, Daddy got caught up in something serious. We're caught up in something serious. You were trying to switch bodies with Mizuki, you psycho? Day 2.
Until next Saturday evening, my personality was inside Renju. My next target was Iris.
Why? Why kill... Okay, I understand why kill Shoko. You had to discard a body. But Renju was a target. Iris was a target for sure. I get it.
I knew she would be suspicious if I asked her to come to Kawasaki, so I asked her to come to Sunfish Pocket first. I called her a little before 5 p.m., and she arrived just after 6. I greeted her, then convinced her to come with me. That's when Ota saw us.
That fucking little peasant.
Anyway, I put her in the car, then headed to the chemical plant. On the way, I made her take a sleeping pill.
You're like Freddy Krueger, but not Freddy Krueger, because you're not in Dream Worlds, but then again, you switch bodies in Somnium, so technically... No. The point I'm trying to make here is like, you're some horror monster. Get away from me.
I knew she might run once she saw where we were going. It was around 7 p.m. when I got there, and I wasted no time switching bodies. After getting Iris's body, I used a rolled-up apron to strangle Renju to death.
But why the eye thing? Is that just to throw us off? To make us think it was like the original Cyclops killer? Which you are, but Rohan was the one who was taking eyes, not you. So you just wanted to play this game as a way to, you know, grandiose and display your handiwork.
Then I put his body in an empty oil drum I'd prepared earlier. I put that in the trunk of the car, then headed to Sunfish Pocket. But then, something I didn't anticipate happened.
Oh man.
Waiting for the signal in Akiba, someone knocked on the window of the car.
It was Oda, huh? So you had to get rid of him.
It was Ota.
I had to get rid of that that midget, that man-child. You know, for all the crap I give Oda, he is voiced by Tanjiro in the English dub of Demon Slayer. So I think his name is Zach. So yeah, Zach Aguilar, I think. Yeah, I think that's right. So yeah, Oda is Tanjiro. So for all the crap I give Oda, you know, he's actually a really cool anime protagonist, and his voice actor is extremely talented.
He asked me something about being able to drive.
So I made up some bullshit. Like, come on, he was such a weeb.
He was surprised, to say the least. I didn't have time to waste on him. But I couldn't risk him finding the oil drum in the trunk. Plus, if word got around that Renji's car was spotted driving around Akiba, that would foil my plans. So, I came up with a lie. I told him that I didn't have a license, so he had to keep it a secret.
Which is true, I don't. I'm truly evil.
That's what that thing referred to in Ota's Nile messages, by the way. And just like that, I managed to escape a bad situation and headed to Sunfish Pocket as planned. The rest went exactly as you already figured out.
Date, we should just kill him. Her, it, that, you know what I mean. Kill Saito. Do it. They three.
Sunday morning, I had a recording or some such thing scheduled.
So I got to live out my dream as an idol. I mean, you have to play the part, right?
Oh, I am of course referring to Iris.
So you got to live out being a top record producer at Lemniscate, Renju. You also lived out your dream of being Iris. Cool.
I didn't want to draw suspicion, so I decided to attend as planned.
I picked up some cool dance moves.
I went to Lemniscate and performed my job. And when I left, I ran into you, Date.
Yes, you did. Oh, man.
To be honest, I was a little surprised.
Same here, because if I recall correctly, this is fresh off of our investigation with Mizuki, and we're basically trying to, like, we have her as a suspect, we were right, but not in the way that we should have been.
Just the previous night, I was a parasite in the body of Renju. I didn't think Ota had seen me. So, of course, I didn't expect to see you there so soon. You were on to me, but there was nothing I could do about that. If I ran, it would only increase your suspicion. So I decided to play my role.
You've been interrogated before. You play that so cool.
The interrogation began around 8:20 p.m., is that right? Then you synced into my mind.
Why do you know so much about syncing, though? You're so well versed. Who taught you this stuff? I'm guessing Pewter, maybe. But you get my point here, right? It's like he was a psychopath, but then he became an intelligent psychopath with the power of syncing and body switching. Makes him more doubly dangerous. Whose bright idea was that? Like, you know, instead of you know, putting the psycho killer to death, you know, and I'm assuming So Tsujima had his political ties here to not sentence his son to death, but you know, let's give him a new body, and he used that ability for evil. So yeah, you were the original Cyclops killer. And this original body right here is Kaname Date, which is your body. Which is why we saw Date's face. Date, just kill him. In fact, I'm a bomb. You can throw him at him. You can throw it at him. Throw me at him.
But you didn't get what you were looking for, did you?
Yes and no.
As a result, you had no choice but to release me. I didn't want to go home right away. I knew there might be police waiting for me.
How did you get into So Tsujima? Like, how did he let his guard down?
That would make it difficult to sneak out at night. And that would put my plan in jeopardy.
Then again, all you had to do was say, "It's me, your son." What? Yeah, I'm in your daughter's body. Isn't that wickedly weird?
So I asked you to take me to Marble. I tried to find an opportunity to run.
And that's when you hit up the simp. Yes, indeed. Oda knocked you out for me.
But then another unexpected event occurred. I got a Nile message from Ota. I knew I could use him.
And that you did, as you sinisterly look at him.
So I told him I needed his help and to meet me at Marble. He did as I instructed him to do. After that, I got into the van with Ota. But because his presence was unnecessary, I asked him to stop at a convenience store to buy me something to drink.
A Diet Mountain Dew.
When he was gone, I took his car and drove to my parents' house where I used to live.
Tsushima. It all ties in pretty well with the other timelines too, where like the taxi driver saw that this car went to the Tsushima residence.
Yes, the Tsushima residence.
So how did you like explain it to So? Hey dad, it's me, your daughter, who's also your son.
Of course, I knew I couldn't just walk up and ring the doorbell.
You could have. Maybe. Did you take out the guards?
Hello, Father, it's been a long time.
That got me a little. That made me jump. You know that warm, like, tense feeling in your entire body? Yep, that made me jump.
I was also in Iris's body at the time.
I mean, that line could have worked. By the way, how is your arm okay? You're moving it very freely, even though it's clearly bloodied.
But I thought I could use that to my advantage.
Your sudden movements, Date should take note and like maybe back up a few feet. You know, this is why some interrogations are done behind a glass, because the person on the other side is very hostile, and I'm just saying for Date's safety, take a few steps back. Have your gun ready.
So I pushed on the intercom, and sure enough, my dad invited me inside.
Did you like speak in Iris's voice, or like you said some sort of code so he knows who you were?
I told him this.
Oh, I'm ready for the jump scare this time.
I want you to come with me. There's something I need to show you.
Okay.
He was quiet for a while, but eventually agreed and got into the van with me.
How did you body switch though? With him though? So you took him to the place, right? The sync machine place?
We arrived at the prototype sync machine around 11:50 p.m.
Alright, here's a question. Someone had to keep... Who gave you access to this place? Like, I understand you were obviously the subject of it way back in the beginning of when the story of who is Date and who is Saito. But how do you keep getting access to this place? It is abandoned, yes, but very fortunate that no one just happened to stroll by.
By the time I was in the body of Sosajima, it was a new day.
Cue the New Day music. Yes, it is. Oh, wow. Sorry. But yeah, oh, so we can... Okay, well, continue.
This was yesterday, early Monday morning.
By the way, I don't want to like miss any dialogue options, because this is basically the whole story told straight from the killer's mouth.
Past midnight.
I can't use none of this as an actual confession, but...
In my new body, I drugged Iris, put her in the van, and drove to a new location.
One familiar, because you killed her mom, you jerk.
Okiura Fishery Cold Storage Warehouse.
Did I miss any dialogue? No, I did not. Yo.
I arrived around 1. then prepared for the show for a couple hours.
Yeah, why did you live stream it? Okay, I can see why. Maybe you wanted to get Boss. You know about Boss.
Of course, when I say show, I mean dismembering Iris.
Yeah, but the live stream part, I'm trying to figure that out. Psycho.
Because of the temperature in the warehouse, it took longer than I expected to prepare, but... Well, you saw it in the video.
Yeah. Why the video? Just for fun? Shits and giggles? Or was that a way to like learn? Because I'm so curious how he got his hands on Boss.
Of course. I didn't anticipate Ota would show up.
And why a polar bear costume? I don't know.
What does that make it? 3 times that brat has showed up unexpectedly?
You didn't like him, huh? Me either. We have that in common.
That annoyed me to no end, and I took that out on him.
And to be fair, you did take it out on him. And, you put him in a polar bear costume.
Dressing him up in the polar bear was an impromptu plan on my part.
Why not, right?
I didn't mean to make you think he was the killer. I just wanted to throw a wrench into the investigation. Didn't matter if you found out or not. This all happened Monday morning.
How did you switch with Boss?
I left the warehouse around 3:30 a.m.
And Monday?
There isn't much to talk about on Monday.
Okay. But you're gonna tell me anyway, you're on a roll.
Before noon, I used my old man's body to call this one. Boss.
Oh, do you know her real name? You probably do.
You might not know this, but she and my father go back about 6 years.
Well, now I do. And I can tell because perhaps, the shooting of Hitomi, number 89.
The two shared a terrible secret.
Well, you seems like to be the terrible secret.
Hinting at that was enough to get the boss to come running to me immediately.
Well, tell me what you did next.
I injected her with a sedative.
Okay.
Then brought her body to the chemical plant.
Your base of operations.
I synced with her, exchanged our bodies.
And you killed your own father. I want you to remember that. I don't know what that means at this point.
And after blowing my father's brains out, I cut his body into pieces.
For fun, Really throw you off. I'm ready for the jump scare.
I stuffed the meat into a vase I brought earlier, then drove back to my house.
How did you deal with the guards? Maybe when you were Soul Tsujima, you told them they all have vacation. Continue. Cutscene. Okay. What an oxymoron. Saito spoke with grace and no sign of remorse. Grace is not the word I would use. I was trying to keep my anger from boiling over, and I kept asking him questions. Okay. Around the horn from right to left? Why did you display the bodies the way you did?
To harass you.
Or yourself, because technically I'm me. I mean, well, I'm you, I'm in your body, right?
I wanted to bring out the hatred in you.
Well, okay. But... oh, so it helps me remember the hatred. Oh, the me I used to be.
That's why I called Mizuki to Bloom Park.
Oh god, we saved Mizuki's life. You were gonna kill her too, right? You psycho.
That's why I streamed Iris's murder.
Makes sense now. It was all to just basically ruin my mind. For what though?
Because they were important to you, weren't they?
But for what though? Are you trying to get back inside my body? Are you trying to kill me? Like, what's your end game at this point? I mean, you technically succeeded.
I wanted you to feel cornered, trapped. I wanted to punish you, Kaname Date.
But why? And you have succeeded, by the way. At this point, I have no loved ones left, except for Mizuki. And you better stop doing that. It's bad form. Alright, but why the victim's eyes?
You know all about the prototype sync machine, don't you? That should explain it.
Oh. I knew. The prototype sync machine differed from the one at Abyss in a few key ways. The machine at Abyss is more sophisticated. Nano cables from the sync gear enter through the gap between the eyeball and socket. In this case, there needs to be an open hole. They then travel down the optic nerve canal to the brain. But the prototype sync machine isn't so advanced. To perform a sync, you need an open eye socket. You need to remove the left eye. Manually. How do you know this? Or how do... why would I know this now, out of all times? The subject and the sinker have to remove their eye from the socket. Ugh. So you haven't done it yet with Boss, but you're going to. I should be on my guard. Otherwise, the cables cannot enter the brain. Of course, even with the eye removed, severing the connection to the brain isn't necessary. The extracted eyeball still has the optic nerve and blood vessels connected. After a sync, the eye is supposed to be replaced back into the socket. It's supposed to be safe. Side effects are rare. Well, unless the nerve or blood vessels are damaged somehow, replacing the eyeball isn't too difficult. Well then. Sinking back in the day was dangerous. And why not? For funsies.
Of course, I don't really care about eyes.
Okay. So it wasn't for show, it wasn't for display, it was just for practical sinking. I get it.
I don't need them.
So what did you do with them? Just gave it away. Remember, I made Renju eat one.
All I cared about was exchanging bodies with the sink. And for that, I needed to remove the left eye.
Why didn't you just put the eyes back when you were done?
Because I didn't felt like it. Come on. Do I really need a reason to just go through that extra step
That's obvious.
to make me think it was the original one? Or make everyone else around me think it's the original one?
Once I was finished transferring into a new body, the old one was of no concern to me.
True. So why waste time? I figured.
Why would I bother replacing the eye? I was just going to get rid of it anyway.
Let's keep going down this line of questioning. Do you still have them?
Shoko's is in Renju.
Okay, yeah, you made it. I remember that. You made Renju eat Shokos. Did you just do that?
Renju's is an iris.
Okay, yep, you just bounced it around.
Iris's is in dad. Dad's is in boss.
Oh, you made Boss eat an eye? Yeah, why not?
Their stomachs, I mean.
Yeah, I figured that.
You sick bastard.
What? Give it of evidence.
Yes, I ate them.
Well,
Immediately after exchanging personalities.
How horrible.
should we go with my plan, Date, to kill him? Okay, hold up. We're going down a line of questioning that's too powerful.
Ah, prototype sync machine has a special feature.
One that suits your needs, obviously.
It administers a strong dose of sedatives to the original body, and a stimulant to the host after a sync. That kept them docile.
Alright then. What's your game here? What's your end game? Is it revenge? Is it because you're a sick, crazy person who never got truly dealt with and now you're making us all pay for treating you like a boogeyman?
Homicide is my hobby.
Well, there you go. Guy. Fair enough.
I have a tenacity for it. What can I say?
So you're just doing your job or your hobby. Well, all the motive I need.
Of course, it was also necessary to make sure people kept their mouths shut.
About your existence?
If I took over someone's body, they would know about my crimes.
Yes, the egg yolks.
I couldn't risk them reporting me, so I killed them.
Hey, quick question. After you kill Boss, using, I would assume, Date, technically, do you get your original body back? Who would be next? Just Pewter? Mayumi? Like, eventually you run out of suspects here, out of targets. Unless the whole world is a target. And not just the characters in this game, but you know what I'm saying, right?
It was also a matter of revenge.
Oh, okay, there you go.
Against you.
What did Konami Date do? And what did... Oh, then. Why me?
It's personal.
Oh, okay, well then. Let's square up right now. I think I can take boss's injured body on right now, and then he reveals, by the way, I've been regenerating, all my injuries are fine, and I'll just use this conversation to heal, and I'm ready to kick your ass. Like, Date, back up, prepare to fight. I mean, personal.
That's why I chose people close to you as targets.
Okay, well then. Thank God Mizuki didn't get killed at any point in this game.
Well, except for my father, of course.
That was, you just wanted him dead.
That was personal to me.
Fair enough. He did kind of betray you.
But don't ask. It's embarrassing.
Well, I mean, given how you either going to die right now, Date shoots you, you kill me, so like, we might as well get all of this on the table. A little impromptu therapy session. Well, there you go, revenge against me, but why me?
This series of murders was like a journey for me.
Okay,
Kaname
Date isn't a likable person to everyone, but jeez.
Traveling through bodies to finally reach the end.
Is it me? Like, is Kaname Date the end?
That's the thing about traveling. We always wind up in the same place, don't you?
Yep, that kind of gives it away, right? Same place, the place you started. This body was originally yours, wasn't it? And then they took you away from it and basically gave me a new identity. I'm not quite sure about who the heck Kaname Date is at this point.
Where do you think that is?
Kaname Date. This body was originally yours. Yep.
Your home.
My home? Well, I mean, that could be a lot of places. The heart, my actual home apartment.
A trip is only complete once you return home.
So you want my body back. Is that right? It's a combination of just, do you want to live after this? I mean...
The same goes for me. When I return home, my travels will come to an end.
Man. I'm totally invested in, like, the mind of a serial killer at this point. And at the same time, it's like, this ending rocks. But I know it's not the real one because we have an whole timeline to go. But Jesus, this is cool. Like the whole psychology behind tormenting Date, but also recreating the past just to, F with us. It's really, really just dark and sinister. And that's the whole vibe, the dark, sinister vibe.
So I'll be needing it back. My body.
Well, you can have it back, I think.
What?
You stole my body.
Well, maybe they gave it to me. I mean, you stole everyone else's body.
You took it from me 6 years ago.
Oh, well, I need to know what happened 6 years ago.
That's why I want revenge.
Oh, man. Boss was so hot. And now, it's, oh my god. One of the Deaderes, like, not tsundere, but, oh my god. You guys know which one it is, man. It's the Psycho one.
What are you talking about?
Date, initiating plan to kill? Combat mode?
You have no idea what it was like inside my own head.
Well, good point. I basically perverted this body and mind. We like porn. Do you like porn?
I miss it. I miss my brain, Date.
But we like porn now. We don't need to kill anymore. But okay. I guess it's really important to you. Look over there!
No matter how many people I killed, it never worked.
Oh yeah. this brain, Date's brain, was once Saito's brain, who got off on killing people, like kind of a endorphin rush. But not everyone is built that way. In fact, it's like a one-on-one case.
I never felt happy.
I'm sorry to hear that. Not even as a hot woman? Because right now, you know, Shizue is a really beautiful woman. No! I don't want to be a woman. I want to be me.
I feel miserable.
Well, I mean, that's terrible. I don't sympathize with you, and I hope that you have a great day in jail. Or at least dead right now. I mean, we have no reason to spare this person's life. But it is Boss in there, so we don't want to hurt Boss. But you get what I'm saying.
You mean?
Oh, there you go.
He was born with a brain dysfunction.
Man, do you remember this conversation, Date?
Due to damage to the posterior pituitary gland, he was unable to properly secrete oxytocin.
Oh, that's right. My old body.
Yep, okay. Well then, how do you want to get it back? I mean, do you want to like just, you know, knock me out, or do you want me to like voluntarily give it back? At this point,
How are you finding it, Date?
well, it's okay. I worked out a little bit. Have you been listening?
That's what I've been telling you!
Yeah, well, I'm sorry I had to ask the question. I mean, but fair enough, fair enough. You should be mad.
But I don't have the same oxytocin deficiency you did.
Yeah, they healed your brain, whatever.
That is because I regularly supplement it.
The medication that Aiba was joking about.
They must have increased your dosage too much.
It wasn't just simple jokes.
No, but
That means Aiba saved my life. Or at least not made me a psychopath. So if I give this person Aiba... No, wait, no.
the person who had this disorder was number 89, the original Cyclops killer.
Bingo, 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 bingo. Number 89 is Saito.
That is what I believed as well.
Unless that was all a lie, but...
But we must have misunderstood. Pewter did not specify who exactly was imprisoned.
Damn you, Pewter.
Only that one of the original culprits responsible was currently in prison.
That's strange.
No, it's to protect... Aw, man. Date.
That would mean number 89 is the previous chairman, Rohan.
That must be it.
Well, we're gonna find out for sure when we hop back into the other timeline.
Rohan is a parasite inside number 89's brain. Pewter must have known that.
No way.
I was confused. I didn't understand any of it. But more importantly, I didn't back away from the psycho murderer standing in front of me, or sitting in front of me. Should have done
Let
that.
us determine the specifics using Saito as our starting point. Whose brain was he in before Boss?
Oh, we're gonna backtrack. Cool, cool, cool.
So Sejima.
And before So?
Iris. And before that, Renju. And before that, Shoko.
And before that,
And before Shoko?
number 89. Why do we... Ah, okay, fine.
I was a parasite inside Rohan's brain 6 years ago until last year. I'd lost most of my memories. I was a shell of a man. They housed me in a special hospital. But I still had those fragments of my mind left. Just as I explained earlier. From a single piece, you can recreate the whole.
Man. So, you could, at this point, understand that this person had a whole messed up timeline where they were just, getting back who they were. And in that case, well, why were they separated from who they were in the first place instead of just properly dealt with? Like, it all screams to me that they wanted to, not kill Saito, but they decided to defragmentize their mind in an attempt to change him. That's my theory here, but okay.
I took my time, slowly regaining my memories.
It obviously didn't work.
1 year ago, I remembered everything. I left the hospital and immediately sought out Shoko Nadami.
As Rohan.
I got her body.
Got her body.
And she was in Rohan's.
Ooh, she must not have liked that.
When she saw herself in the mirror, she lost her mind.
And committed suicide.
She was confused, panicking, running up the emergency staircase, and then...
committed suicide. You didn't have to show a red screen.
That's why Rohan committed suicide.
He was really a terrified woman.
After that, I spent a year perfecting my plan.
Just living out as Shoko Nadami. Yikes.
Using Shoko's body. I spied on you all this time. That's why I know everything about you.
But who is really Kaname Date for him to technically be the chosen one to switch from Saito? Who were you before Rohan? Man.
In there,
Yeah. In the mental crazy facility.
in that body you are operating right now, in that skull.
Oh. I was a part of the Kumakura gang. Sort of.
My personality lived there.
Wait, hold on.
The time for waiting is over.
If what you're saying is true, what about my personality?
Oh yeah. The perv.
It was in Rohan.
And that means Rohan's the perv? Oh.
I'm not Rohan!
Correct. It is just as he explained earlier. Number 89 was in Rohan's body. other words,
You're number 89.
That's...
Whoa. I like to say I think I was right when I called that, right?
my real...
Whoa. So number 89 is Kaname Date. So, Parasite. What's your deal? Where we going from here? Well, his memories are all good and dandy, but I technically didn't live them out because they made me forget. Now I'm recalling them all over again? Yeah.
Sorry, but time's up.
Okay. So you regenerated, right? You healed?
I want my body back.
Well, you can have it back. The life I live is sad.
It's quite simple.
Alright, let's go.
Sync with me and stay inside my mind for more than 6 minutes.
Well, okay, that makes sense now.
And if I refuse?
I'll kill you. Or, you have no option to refuse. I kill Pewter, kill Mizuki.
I know that you won't. I know it.
Huh?
Simple. I know that your life is all effed up. Well,
Date, look!
Pewter, you were here the whole time?
This is streaming live!
Well then.
Damn you!
Well then, this will end the episode because Hitomi's life is in grave danger. A la like the Joker and Rachel from The Dark Knight. And well, we're looking at the Joker here, but it's a parasite who is Saito Shijima and wants his body back. Look, a lot of this was crazy to take in and I enjoyed it because I was tense and scared and almost a little like charmed by the whole psychology of a murderer. But this isn't the end. We have to either save Hitomi, kill Saito, or do both of those things. That's a win-win. So until next time, have a great day or night, and later.